which connected learning supports have been most helpful for your child and your family?
So we joined Connected Learning this year. We were in the regular classroom, and then we have spent a lot of time in the hospital. I think like 9 or 10 stays this year. So, and talking to Nicole, I won't steal her story, but like, she was like, "Oh my gosh, we've been meeting with Miss Mindy, and this is life changing to her son." And anyways, so we couldn't make it to the classroom because multiple surgeries and complications this year. So we had to back out, but I knew that we were in good hands because we got to have Miss Mindy come over. She's expert in all things assistive technology, but not just that, like just communication. Um, and honestly, with my son, most of the world, doctors included, everyone kind of, besides Little Lighthouse, you might look at him and think, well, he can't say anything. He can't really hear what we're saying. He can't understand what we're thinking. He has a hard time getting his words out. I mean, he doesn't have verbal words, but Miss Mindy has really helped in so many different ways, work on giving him a voice and letting him choose what he wants and communicate with us if he's in pain, whereas I've never been able to, like if he cries, how do we know what's wrong with him? But she's worked with us to.
Try to hold the top. Oh, that was the tip I received.
Okay. Up here. Okay.
Yes, okay.
Worked with us. She never looks at Gideon, and nothing ever stops her with thinking he has full potential to communicate with us. So we've used partner-assisted communication, and she's walked us through the process of how that works, and she tailors it towards Gideon. Every time she comes to our house every week, and every time she comes, she has customized a classroom just for Gideon, and even includes his 2 siblings. It's incredible. But she's brought so many different types. Like what's the watch called? Ionic?
Control Ionics.
Yes, control. Yeah, I mean, there's just always like really cool things because with him, we've sort of seen like he doesn't really have head control, so he lacks good head control right now. So like we've worked with different ways to let him say yes or no. So like, are you in pain? Yes or no, and we work with that. And then a lot of different switch devices, but even like a watch to where if he moves his hand, he can explain what he wants just with that way. And there's countless. She always has something new in her technology, whatever. And I also call her, when she comes to our house, I'm like, oh, Mindy Poppins is here because she has this huge bag, and every time there's like different things in the bag, and it's amazing. Yeah. So I could go on, but I'll stop.
That was fantastic. So yes, Becca, you and your son Gideon are at home, and Miss Mindy comes to your home. She brings all the gadgets in her big Mindy Poppins bag, and has seemed to have really helped with helping you guys identify communication and letting him be independent in that and make some choices for himself.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Nicole, question for you, and if you'll hand her the mic. What concerns or needs led your family to join Connected Learning?
Oh boy. So we've been at Little Lighthouse for about 4 years. The first 2 years we had really good runs. Might have to step out of class for a week or two for a surgery or a procedure, and then we were able to come back. But his 3rd year, we made it to class once, and he was hospitalized from about the 2nd day of class. Basically all year. We might come home for 48 hours and go back, or we'd be home a couple weeks thinking we could go back to class, and then he'd have to go back in the hospital, or his condition would decline. So altogether, Gus has spent about 3.5 years inpatient between Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and then we had one life flight to Kansas City. So it kind of became, what are we going to do? Because we can't go to class. And so it was really down to what options do we have? Do we just stop engaging? Do we pull him from the school? or do we talk about connected learning? And because of all of the medical stuff we had going on, I was really hesitant to add anything more on. Like, I don't think I can bring in anybody else to do another appointment. I don't think I can take him out anywhere. I'm just overwhelmed. And Mindy reached out, I think, at one point, and she's like, just let me come by. I was like, okay. I forfeit. And I think at that point he was maybe in ICU care. Was it the first time you came and saw him? Yeah. And he lit up. He was very sick. He had had some respiratory things happen, and he just was connected to everything. And we sat him up a little bit, and she started talking and working with him. And he's like, like he engaged so much, and he was so happy. And given circumstances he'd had up until that point, I was just floored. And then Mindy kept coming back and kept working with him, and we just saw so much change that was so positive for him that we continued with the program. This year, we had been in maybe a third of the year present here, and then Mindy has been at our house or at the hospital with us as we've continued to pursue medical treatments. He's had a lot of growth. Again, you're talking about partner-assisted communication. Wild. It's wild. Our sons share a diagnosis. Gus is very limited in his ability to move his limbs. So he has the ability to kind of move his wrists. He can kind of move his arm up a little bit like that. He can move his legs like this. But Mindy always presumed ability and presumed understanding. And then we tailored his supports to be what he could do. So he answers yes or no questions. He knows the parts of his body. He knows siblings' names. He knows his different nurses that come and visit him. He can tell us what's hurting. He told me one time his heart rate was uncomfortable, like elevated, and he acted like he was kind of uncomfortable, and he was just in bed. And I was like, Gus, are you hurting? And he goes, yes. And I was like, well, because we just found out his hip had been dislocated, so I had moved him, and I was like, well, is it your hip? I was all I was all rattled by it, and he's like, no. And I was like, well, what is it? And he's like, and he starts kind of laughing at me. I'm like, what's so funny? And I'm looking at him, I go, did I scare you? Because I forgot to announce myself like I should have. And he goes, yes. So we've had lots of moments like that where he was able to communicate not only like what was going on with his person, but how he was feeling. And like recently, he learned how to give gifts. And so Mindy was just working with him to show him how he could open and close his mouth and how we could make sounds that way. And we were like, well, Gus, you just did that. That's how you give a kiss. You just close your mouth and stick your lips out. And he goes, like that. So, at 6 years old, he gave his first kiss.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's adorable. Thanks for sharing that, and just the journey that you guys have been on in and out of being here at Little Lighthouse, the location, but also Little Lighthouse that comes to you through Miss Mindy. So yay for that. Joe, do you prefer to go by Joe? Joseph. Okay, Joseph, here we go. I'd love to hear from you. What initially led you to choose Little Lighthouse for Aubrey, and how do you know it was the right fit?
Well, we found out that Aubrey was going to have Down syndrome, and we just kind of, were initially worried, and just started talking to people, and people said, "Hey, have you heard of this place called Little Lighthouse?" And we're like, "Well, not really." And they said, "Well, you need to check it out. It's a cool place." And so we started looking into it, and I mean, my wife was still pregnant, and we brought the other 4 kids with us, and we came and took a tour, and we're like, wow, this place is pretty neat. And so we got him got his name on the waiting list before he was ever born. And so about the time he was supposed to start school, it was the COVID pandemic beginning, and we're like, we're not too comfortable with him being, in school. and with his health conditions and everything. And so we got connected with Miss Mindy, and we started school by Zoom sessions in the high chair in the kitchen. And she would send home these great activity bags. And we would have like little activities that we would do. And Aubrey is a twin; he has a twin brother, and so Aubrey and Jude would kind of tag team and get the activities done, and then the other brothers and sister were like, "Hey, we want to help," and they would all come in, and we'd and then we'd take pictures and send Miss Mindy our progress and like what we'd done that week, and it was fun. But I'm glad we're not doing Zoom class anymore, because a little one in a high chair in front of a computer screen, they have a very finite attention span. And it was funny because Miss Mindy would, whatever activity we were doing, she would have one on her end, and we'd have the same on our end, and we would, copy each other, and it was pretty funny. And so then we transitioned to where it was Aubrey and his nurse, and they would just come to Miss Mindy's classroom, and I'd sit in the car or whatever and wait. And then we did that for a while, and then Miss Mindy invited twin brother to come along, and then we started doing in person with Miss Mindy and Aubrey and Jude, and that was really good because Aubrey would be hesitant, like to go touch the smart board or whatever. Jude would jump up and be like, "I'll do it," and he'd go do it, and then Aubrey was like, "Hey," and so he'd want to go do it too, right? Because sibling rivalry, of course. Whatever my brother can do, I can do, which sometimes is an advantage, right? But then Jude started public school, kindergarten, so then it's just been, Aubrey and Miss Mindy, and she's like, "Well, we really need to get him being in the classroom because the goal is to go to public school." And she's like, "I love having him one-on-one, but, he needs to kind of spread his wings a little bit." And so this year we've been joining in with green class, and, after a little initial of, uncertainty and having to say goodbye to me and go off down the hall and leave me behind, that was hard for both of us, by the way. He's really done well. He's really done well. And so he graduates this summer, and he will be starting Jinx Public Schools in the fall. And we're facing it with, I would say 50-50 hope and fear, but a lot more hope than we would have without being here. I'll say that. So, the Lighthouse, we're thankful for it. We're thankful for the past 4 years. We're thankful for Miss Mindy. She means a lot to our family, and just looking forward to what kids can do, because they can do amazing things, and this place can do amazing things. So thank you.
Thanks, Joseph. That's awesome. One of my favorite memories is seeing you and Aubrey do your lemonade stand, your walking lemonade stand. They had the best aprons and visors, and they went around to all the classrooms with Miss Mindy and to all of our staff and gave out lemonade, and I will never forget that day. I don't think I've smiled ear to ear like that in a long time. So it was just the best ever, and I love that you were such a great participant as well. I'm not sure if Miss Mindy had to talk you into it or if you were game from the beginning, but I love that. So yay for that. Okay, I'm going to go one more question each of you. We have 10 minutes left, so take your time, but like not too crazy, okay? So, Becca, if you could tell a parent who is considering enrolling their child one thing about Little Lighthouse, what would it be?
Enroll, for one. I mean, like Joseph was saying, there's a lot of fear. I mean, even with typical kids, sending them to school, but especially with, you go kind of in this crazy state of mind if you have a little child with special needs, thinking no one will take care of him correctly, or you just have so much extra fear. And there was a point in my life, I grew up knowing all about Little Lighthouse. I would be at the fundraisers and all the things, but when I had Gideon, that uncertainty came back in, and I was like, well, I can't send him to school, like, he's got to stay home with me. And then there was an older alumni, Laura Knapp, and I talked to her on the phone one time, and she was like, no, you need to send it to Little Lighthouse. I was like, yeah, thanks for talking some sense into me, but it was like, what in the world was I thinking? I mean, this is the place, like in all of the world, literally. Like Tulsa is absolutely so blessed to have Little Lighthouse here. Like, yeah, there's other cities trying to emulate Oklahoma City. There's places across the world trying. I mean, there are so many people across the world looking to Little Lighthouse for resources and how they do things and the way that the teachers all work together and just the way that they adore your kid. Like, everyone knows Gideon's name and they all know his specific, like, even teachers I don't really know, like, they're like, hey, Gideon, you know, they all know him and love him, and they are here because they are meant to be here, the teachers and all the staff. And Miss Mindy, like, she's one of the, I was like, one day I was like, do you sleep? I don't think you sleep. Because it was like, it'll be a break, a school break, spring break. She was trying to get Gideon and Gus together. You know, she's like, she just works her tail off, and that's just this school. They go all out for your kids. And so if you have a kid with special needs and you're unsure, then I would just say apply, sign up, send them. Your kids you'll learn so much more about your kids from watching the teachers and other people and the smiles your kids will have here.
I love it. Thanks. All right, Nicole, you guys have been in and out of connected learning for a while, and you've probably used a lot of the different tools, activity bags, Miss Mindy coming here. What's been the most beneficial, and what has growth been like for Gus? I know that you have talked already about how he's gone so well with communication, yes and no's, and showing emotion. But if you could just share a few other fun examples of things that he's learned and ways that he's grown through those different avenues.
Well, I will say I hate Zoom. I do not like it at all. Gus really needs somebody who's hands-on with him and in person with him. So for us, when we're given options, if you could do Zoom activities or not, it's always just a straight no. He needs somebody who can lay hands on him, help show him how to do things, be present with him, whereas you just don't get that through Zoom. I like having somebody in the home working one-on-one with him, showing him how things work, engaging with him, because because he's nonverbal and because of his overall picture, it takes time to learn how each kid operates and how they communicate and what their nonverbal signals are, and what they may not have words, but they verbalize. They make noises. They'll have facial expressions, and it varies from kid to kid. So if trying to communicate that over the internet is not super easy. So my preference is always having somebody in the home, and Mindy's been able to do that for us. I mean, definitely, I'd say the highlight for me is the communication. It's been able to help us explore who he is as a person, because a lot of times people would presume that he's not present, like that he's so sick, he's got all these disabilities, he's got both physical and intellectual disabilities that are so severe that, clinically he's not supposed to do anything past 6 months of age. We think he's category 5 blind. Yes, his hearing is normal, but he can't see. The presumption is so negative. He can see. It may not be normal seeing, but he sees. He sees color, he sees light, he can track. The reason we could teach him to give a kiss is because he was following our facial features when we were showing him sounds with our mouths. He was mimicking our facial features. I'm so grateful that Mindy came in and stepped in, because when maybe somebody who doesn't have her background, like she worked with other kids with a lot of complexities, and you don't have that background, there's people just kind of shrug their shoulders. They're like, I'm not really sure what to do. And she wasn't that way at all. She's like, there's this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm still back here. So that's been really, really wonderful, because, I can see Gus's sense of humor a little bit more now. He can ask for his siblings. He shows preference to activities he wants to do with his siblings. He shows preference once he wants to do with us. It's just his person. Like, we get to see his person, and like not just the disability, right? Like, the disability is the thing on the side, and then his person is able to show forth, and then we can help other people learn his personality and let them see who he is, and not just all the paperwork and all the disabilities and all the what everybody says it should be. Well, they're wrong. That's
Boom, mic drop. They're wrong. I love it. I love that. What it sounds like to me is that the communication has really helped shape like identity, and it's helped you to know identity, and it's helped Gus to know his own identity, and that's so sweet. I love that. All right, Joseph. Last question here for you. How has being a part of Little Lighthouse influenced your outlook or approach to parenting a child with special needs?
It's great because you're in a community of professionals, and everybody has their role to play, and everybody does it with such love and kindness and acceptance. And here, it's not a big deal that Aubrey has a feeding tube. It's not a big deal that Aubrey has a colostomy bag. It's not a big deal that he learns differently than his twin brother, and just you look around and you see other parents and other kids, and you say, wow, if they can do it, we can do it too, And some of these kids, I mean, they have way, way more struggles than any one person should. And you say, what the heck do I have to complain about? These kids are amazing. They just face the day with love and hope and joy. And you're like, that's unbelievable. That's God right there. And I don't know, this place is just, it's the happiest place on earth. And it's got the best people in Tulsa, without a doubt, work here and are affiliated with this place. And I can't say enough good things about it. So we thank everybody for their support. We thank everybody for their love and good thoughts. And we're just really, really glad to be here, and for Aubrey to be here, and for this to be the beginning of the journey. It's not the end of his journey, it's just the beginning. And that's what this place is all about. It's a launching pad, to just, this isn't where the kids stop. This is where they start, and they're just going to go above and beyond anything that you can imagine. And that's hard as a parent to see it sometimes, but they see it. They see it here. And so this place is awesome. I can't say enough good things. Thank you.